नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter number 11, beginning from verse number 11. So we read that Lord Ramchandra, he went at night into his kingdom incognito to see how people are doing and what is their mood towards him. And he heard some talk about his relationship with Mother Sita, especially the washerman who spoke badly about it while fighting or quarreling with his own wife, and said that I am not Ram, that I keep you in when you have been out for the night. So when Lord Ramchandra heard this, then he was shocked and he was very unhappy. He came home and he was wondering what action to take. So he went to his bedroom, got disconnected, and then he could not sleep because it was a great decision and big disturbance to his mind. It's a direct attack on his character, or rather character of his wife, the queen. So he was very concerned, and he could not talk about it to Sita Devi also. So he called one of his close friend and he asked him what should be done. So he said, well, you can call this washerman and talk to him, and if you don't want, I can call him and explain to him that it is not like that, because when Sita Devi was in captivity of Ravana and Lord Ramchandra, he killed Ravana and got Sita, then Sita underwent fire test to prove her chastity. So of course nobody from Ayodhya was present there, but then so many other people were there. At least Lakshman was present, Hanuman was there. At least these two people were living permanently in Ayodhya. Other monkeys, Sugriva, etc., they have returned back. So he said, no, that is not appropriate, and I think I should give up Sita. So the friend was very surprised and shocked that he can take such a drastic action. So he said, I have been installed as the ruler of the people for their welfare, and their welfare comes first, and my own personal happiness is secondary. I exist for their happiness and not that they are for my happiness. It is in their happiness that is my happiness. So I cannot do something because it is pleasing to me, although they may be displeased by that. So I cannot close the mouth of the people, and it is not just one or two people, but there are so many of them who may be talking like this. Some were speaking directly, some indirectly. Because this is a society of old times where people were very dharmic and they were very devoted in their relations. And especially king is considered as an ideal person. Leader means who is an ideal person. Yadyad acharti sreshta tattadevitara jana. So it is important for leader to be of impeccable character. So Lord Ramchandra, therefore, he brooded over it, and then he decided that he would give up Sita. And this way then no one has to raise fingers. But how to do it? So he called Bharat in the morning, and Bharat was surprised that he was calling such early time, because generally he doesn't call in the morning. They are busy doing their morning dharmic duties like Agnihotra, chanting of mantras. So then he told Bharat that this is what has happened and I want to give up Sita. So when Bharat heard it, he fainted. So then he called Shatrughna and same thing happened. Then came Lakshman and he sees that Ram is in a very sad mood and two of his brothers have lying on the ground fainted. So he did not know what is going on. I mean, it's a very serious matter. It's not something to laugh about. So he fell at the feet of Lord Ramchandra and he asked that, what is wrong? I see that you are not looking happy and you have not engaged in your morning duties. So is anything wrong? I can do something. And he said, yes, and you are the only one who can do this. But you give me the word that whatever I tell you, you will do it without questioning, without arguing back. So there is a statement in Sanskrit, Agya Gurunam hi vicharaniya, avicharaniya. This is a statement which I heard from my Guru hundreds of times. So literally it means that the order of Guru is supreme and it should be followed. Guru means not just Guru only, but people who are authoritative, because in Sanskrit the word Guru means, that's why it is in plural. Plural in Sanskrit can be used for many and also out of respect also. So of course it can be taken both ways. So Agya Gurunam hi avicharaniya, that one should follow that. As you know what Parshuram did when his father told him that you chop off the head of your mother, he did not argue back. He did it immediately. He killed his own mother. So he said that you promise to me that what I tell you, you will do it, and I do not want to hear any arguments, and I don't want you to ask me why I am doing it. You just do it. So of course Lakshman is so obedient to Lord Ramachandra. He went to forest with him, although he was not asked. It was not that Kaikeyi has asked that Lakshman should also go. And to go away from kingdom, giving up his own. He was also newly married. At least Bhagwan Ram had his wife with him. Lakshman went with them, leaving his family behind. I mean, family means his wife. Of course, his wife, his mother and father died. But when they left, father was also alive. So he went with Ramchandra ji and he served him just like their servant. He treated Ram like his own father and Sita as his mother. When Sita was kidnapped by Ravana and he was taking her by the plane, and plane those days had open windows because it was not airtight. Pressure, I don't know how they manage the pressure, but it is said that when she was there, she was dropping her ornaments on the ground so that later on, if Bhagwan Ram and Lakshman are searching, that at least they know that they have gone. So later on it happened that Ramchandra, he found a necklace and he picked it up and he said, "This looks like Sita's necklace," and he asked Lakshman that, "Do you know if it is Sita's?" And he says, "Please do not ask me because I cannot answer this." He says, "Why?" He says, "Because I always look at the feet of Sita, so I don't know what kind of necklace she wore." So this is how he treated them, with so much respect and reverence. And now that Lakshman was ordered by Ramachandra that you take Sita and leave her in the forest. And when Lakshman heard it, he also fainted. And he said, "What is the sin that I have done in my life that I have to hear this with my own ears? That Mother Sita, whom I respect just like my own mother, and now I have to take her to forest without telling her and then just leave her there." So he was really lamenting. This is the only time he lamented at the disadvantage of being junior to Ram. Because he has been ordered by elder brother and he cannot say no. And he has even given word. But at the same time, how could he do this? So you can imagine the situation of Lakshman. So just 2 days ago, Sita has expressed her desire to go and see forest and see the ashram of the sages. So Lord Ramchandra said that this is what you should tell her, that I want to take you to the ashram of sage Valmiki. And then of course she is going to ask why you are taking and why her husband is not going with her, because they are supposed to go together. So he said, "You say that I am busy with my royal duties." So he was just stunned, but he could not deny it. He has to do it. At the same time, he did not have the heart to do such a thing. Who could do something like this? So therefore it is said that Lord can be softer than the rose petal and he can be hard just like a thunderbolt. So kathorani vrajadapi mriduni kusmadapi. So this is what Ramchandra was. When he made the decision, then he did not change his mind. And Lakshman was crying, Ramchandra could not even cry. He has to be as if it is everything is normal. He went to the Sabha Bhavan, the court, and he sat there, look after the daily duties, and nobody knew what is going on. So Lakshman, he went to Sita Devi, he paid respect to her, and he told her that he will take her to the ashram of sage Valmiki. So Sita was very happy to hear this. Of course, she does not know what is coming in. So she says, okay, I will get ready and I will take some gifts, some sweets, fruits, some food, some ornaments to offer to the ashram ladies and ashram boys there. So please give me some time and then we will go. So he says, okay, I'm just waiting whenever you are ready. So then when she was ready, then they sat and Lakshman sat in the chariot and they left. And of course, what is happening in Lakshman's mind, that Sita Devi does not know. He was crying, and whenever Sita would look at him, he will turn his face away. And when she is not seeing, then he will wipe his face, because he was just continuously crying like a child. And the charioteer, that Sumant, he did not know why Lakshman is crying just like a baby. He is a grown-up man, he is a Kshatriya, he is a warrior, and he is crying and crying and crying, but he does not dare to ask. So even he is confused. Of course, he is the same one who carried Ramchandra, Lakshman and Sita to forest 14 years ago. He is the same driver. And today there are only two. The third one is not there. There is only Sita and there is Ramchandra, there is Lakshman. But there is no such thing that he is taking them to live in the forest. He also does not know. So they went, and when they reached near to the ashram of Valmiki, which is on this side of the river Ganga, so then they took a boat, and then Lakshman is walking and Sita is following him, and she is wondering, where is he taking, because he doesn't seem to be taking me into the ashram. So after some time she asked that, where are you taking me? Because this doesn't seem to be the way to ashram, because she has been there before. They have lived in that ashram. So when she asked, he just broke down and he started crying. And he said that, I am so fallen, I am so offensive. I do not know what sin I have committed in my past life that I have to be in this situation. I feel like that I should give up my life. And I hope you will forgive me. So Mother Sita said, why are you talking like this? You have not done anything. I do not know anyone else who is more respectful to me. And today I see that you look so sad from the very beginning. I am noticing this, and now you are talking as if you are a criminal. So what is happening to you? Are you playing some joke with me? Something has happened that I am not aware of? Please tell me what is the matter. So then Lakshman said that, I do not have the heart to tell you. Better that I drop dead before words come out from my mouth. May this earth part and I drop into it. Or maybe the lightning strikes me on my head before I speak. Says, it's just not possible. Why I cannot just drop dead? So Sita also did not know what is happening and why he is speaking like this. So she told him that, please speak, why you cannot tell me what is the truth? So finally he broke into tears and he was crying, and then he said that, I have been asked to leave you in the forest. And I hope you do not be angry at me, because I am just following the order of my brother. So when Sita heard that, she just fell on the ground like a tree uprooted in the storm. So here is Lakshman, who himself is in despair. Now there is another problem, that Sita has also fainted. So he tried to revive her, and when she came back to senses, he said, "You mean to say that I will never see my husband again?" And he said, "Yes." He says, "What is this? At least when we came last time, we had a hope that after 14 years we return back. And now there is no such hope. How will I live? How will I survive? And what is my fault? You know very well that I went through the fire test. So why this is being done to me? I know that Ram loves me, and you know, and he also knows that I cannot live in separation from him. So what shall I do?" So Lakshman said, "Well, this is his order, and he is fixed in his mind, and whatever he decides, nobody can change that." When he decided that he would go to forest, although it was not his fault, nobody could convince him. Even Bharat could not dissuade him. Although it was for the sake of Bharat that Kekai, his mother, had asked these two boons, but even Bharat was not able to dissuade Lord Ramachandra from going to forest and come back. So he said it is not possible. So then Sita cried, and Lakshman said that, "I don't know what I can say, but I have to leave you." So he left, and he is walking and turning his head back, and Sita is sitting there and crying and crying and crying. So you can imagine her situation. So then he went far away. He took the boat, but then he took the boat back because he wanted to see what will happen to her. He didn't feel like just dropping her there like that. So he, from far, hiding behind a tree, he was seeing that she is sitting there and she is just crying in loud voice. And then the ashram of Valmiki was nearby. So the brahmacharis from the ashram, they heard, and they came and they were surprised that this some very young, beautiful woman, as if she has come from heaven. She is sitting there, she is dressed up nicely, but she is crying. So they went to ashram and they told this to sage Valmiki, that there is somebody in the forest and she is crying alone. So then Valmiki came there, and Sita was worried that if he is going to ask me, "Why are you crying?" and if I tell that my husband has abandoned me, then what is he going to think? That I have a bad character. Otherwise, why is he leaving? So she was thinking that what is this situation now, that now I have this stigma, and if anybody asks me that what happened, and if I say that my husband abandoned me, so they will actually think that there must be something wrong with my character, otherwise why the husband is abandoning. So when says Valmiki came, Sita was just worried that obviously he is going to ask me, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" and what am I going to tell? I cannot tell lies. So Valmiki came and she paid obeisance to him, And Valmiki blessed her and he said, I know who you are and you don't have to tell me anything. I don't doubt your character. You are the most chaste lady in the whole universe. You are worshipable of everybody. So please do not feel that there is anything wrong with you or I am going to doubt you. And you come and live in my ashram. You are just like my daughter. I do not have any big facilities here like you have in the palace, but whatever I have, I will give you. And you should not feel that you are somewhere in somebody's place. Just think that this is your ashram. And you have any problem, any difficulty, then just approach me. So he assured her and told her that do not have any fear that people will think bad of you. In fact, you will be worshipped in the history as a chaste woman. So you should have no worries like that. And he already predicted that you will give birth to 2 sons who will carry the dynasty of Ramchandra, and therefore you should not think of giving up your life. Because she was also thinking, why do I have to live? Sita Devi came from earth when her father Janaka was plowing, because that's what he was asked. So she was thinking, why the earth cannot give me place and take me back. So Valmiki said that no, you have to live because you have to give the successor to Ramchandra. So this is how Sita was left or abandoned or sent away by Ramchandra, which was described in this verse. Patya bhitena satyakta prapta prachetasa ashramam. So there it is described that bhitena patya satyakta, that she was abandoned by the husband who was fearful. So Ramchandra, who gives fearlessness, he is called here as bhitena, because he is doing something which he is not really doing out of his happy state of mind, but it has to be done like that. So therefore it said that patya bhitena satyakta prapta pracheta ashramam. So then she reached the ashram of Prachetas, that is Valmiki. So antarvatyagate kale yamau sa sushuve sutau kushau lavaiti khyatau tayos chakre kriya munihi. She was pregnant at that time, and in due course she gave birth to twins, and they were named as Kusha and Lava. And sage Valmiki, he performed their ceremony, birth ceremony, name giving ceremony. All this was done by him. So Antarvartini means Garbhavati. There is no comment on this. And then he describes Angadas Chitraketuscha Lakshmanasya Atmajau Smritau Takshaha Pushkalayati Astam Bharatasya Mahipate. So just as Ramchandra had 2 sons, Lakshmana also had 2 sons. Just remember that this in 9th canto, there is a description of Manvantaras and the various lineages, Vansanucharitam Chaiva. So that's why it is coming, it is a description of Surya Vansa. So Lakshman has 2 sons who were called as Angada and Chitraketu, And Bharata had two sons called Taksha and Pushkala. So iti Bhartasya Mahipate. Subahu Shrutasenasya Shatrughanasya Babhuvatu Gandharvan Kotisho Jagne Bharto Vijaye Disham. And Shatrughan also had two sons whose names were Subahu and Shrutasena. So all four brothers, they had two sons each, which are described here. And then it is said that Bharata, he killed many of these Gandharvas and conquered the directions. So these Gandharvas, they were living in area somewhere where is Afghanistan now and Pakistan. So Kekai actually came from that area, and once Kekai's brother sent a message to Ramchandra that there's these local Gandharvas, they are creating trouble and I need help because they are all the time attacking my kingdom. So then Bhagavan Ramchandra, he deputed Bharata that you go and you help, because this is also place of his mother. So Bharata came there, and there was this king of Gandharvas. His name was Shalusha. So he sent a message to him first that it is better that you leave this place and do not trouble the kingdom of my maternal uncle. Otherwise, you have to fight with me. So that Gandharva king was also very proud, and he did not accept his proposal. So then there was a war between them, and it went on for a few days. And this Gandharva king was killed, and remaining Gandharvas, they ran away. So that is what is described here, Gandharvan Kotiso Jagne Bharato Vijaya Desham, that he conquered that direction. And then he installed his two sons there. So he heard of this place called Takshashila, which was a famous university more than 2000 years ago. That's where Chanakya was teaching. You heard of Chanakya? So Chanakya used to teach at Takshashila. He was a professor there. This Takshashila is in Pakistan now. So this Takshashila was actually founded by Taksha, son of Bharata. So it is an old city, and there was a famous university there, but then it was destroyed. And it was international university where students were coming from different parts of the world to study. And this is where Chanakya started his mission. From there, when Alexander came in 323 BC, that time Chanakya was present there. So to stop him, then he gathered the kings. He went to different kings to unite and fight against him. So there's a whole story about that. So Chanakya is one of the person who had united all the kings in all this Afghanistan, Pakistan, all that area up to what is Myanmar now. This was all part of Bharatvarsha. Then Tadiyam Dhanamaniyam Sarvam Ragye Navedayat Shatrughanasya Madhoputram Lavanam Nama Rakshasam Hatva Madhuvane Chakre Mathuram Nam Vaipurim. So Tadiyam Dhanamaniyam. So after killing these Gandharvas, the wealth he brought and offered to his brother Ramchandra. And the next is description of Shatrughna. So here in Mathura, there was an asura living whose name was Madhu. So one of the forest is called Madhuvan. Madhuvan is this area where Mathura is now. So Madhuvan yatra Bhagwan Sannihito Harihi. There is a statement. This is also the place where Dhruv Maharaj was performing his austerities. In the 4th canto it is described that he went to Madhuvan. So this Madhuvan was named after an asura called Madhu. So this Madhu, although he was an asura, he was actually married to the sister of Ravana's mother. Because Ravana was also at that time. So I think his mother's name was Kashiki, I think. So they were related, but this Madhu was not an asura who was troubling others. He was quite devoted to Brahmanas and very dharmic person. Sometimes people may be born in asura family, but they are of good character, like Prahlad Maharaj, even Bali. So Madhu was also like that. And he was a great devotee of Bhagwan Shiva. He performed very severe austerities to please Shiva. And when Shiva was pleased, he appeared to him and then he asked him, if you want any boon from me. So he said, I just want to be your devotee and I do not have any specific desire. So Shiva gave him a trident. And he said that this trident, if you have in your hand, then nobody can defeat you in war. So you keep it. So this made him unconquerable. Then he had a son whose name was Lavana, which is mentioned here. So it is Madhu who established the city called Mathura. What is called Mathura here is also known as Madhura. Sometimes in the Puranas, Mathura is called Madhura. So he is the one who founded it. So it has been the place of asuras. Kansa was not the first one. That's why all the asuras gathered there around Kamsa. But this Lavana, he was a very proud fellow, because it happens when you have a father who is powerful, then the children tend to be a little bit unruly. So Lavanasura was like that. He was also very powerful, and then he got the trident from his father. So he was going around defeating kings and troubling Brahmanas. So this news went to Ramchandra also. So then he deputed Shatrughna that you go and kill this Lavanasura. So you can imagine that he had wide kingdom. Of course, Ramchandra also did Rajasuya Yagya, so he was Chakravarti Samrat, which means that there were kings. It's not that he is controlling them, but they come under him and they have to pay tax to him. And if they need help, then he can also come and help them. So that's why he was sent there. So that's what he said, that Shatrughanasya Madho Putram Lavanam Nama Rakshasam. He says that he was the son of Madhu and his son's name was Lavana. Lavana means salt. Heard of Lavan Bhaskar Churna? So, but there is another word which comes from Lavana, and that is called Lavanya. And Lavanya means beauty. Why Lavanya means beauty? What beauty has to do with salt? Yes. So if you see rock salt, which comes from Sindh, it is called Sandhava. So if you see the big pieces of it, it's very shiny. It actually glows. So when you have a skin which shines like that, then that is called Lavanya. So literally Lavanya means made of salt or related to salt. But somehow the word Lavanya has become fixed in the sense of beauty. So anyway, this was Lavanasura. So he killed him, Hatva Madhuvane. So he killed him in Madhuvan, Chakre Mathura Nam Vaipurim. And then, according to this, it is said that it is he who established Mathura. So it's also mentioned that Madhu established it. But Bhagavatam also says that Shatrughna established it. Both are okay. Maybe one did it, another developed it. But definitely Mathura sounds like Madhura. Or maybe what Madhu did was called Madhura, and then Shatrughan came and changed it to Mathura. You have seen many times when the government comes, they change the names. In India, so many names have been changed because when the Britishers came, they changed the names because they could not pronounce things. If you see the old writings, how Mathura is written, it is written as M-U-T-T-U-R, Mutura. So they changed names like that. Whatever the way they were able to pronounce it, then that became known, and that's how the people are saying, Kolkata became Calcutta. So now they're changing them back to their original names. So this is the description of Lord Ramachandra's life, his brothers, and how he was ruling. Then it is described there that how there's not much details. If you want details, you can read Ramayana or watch it. It's available on YouTube. These days it's coming on TV also. So, Munau Nikshipya Tanayau Sita Bhartra Vivasita Dhyayanti Ramacharnau Vivram Praviveshaha. So here it is said that Sita Devi, finally she entered into earth after entrusting his two sons to sage Valmiki. So Munau Nikshipya Tanayau Sita Bhartra Vivasita, who has been sent away by the husband. So Dhyayanti Ramacharnau, while meditating at the feet of Bhagavan Ram, Vivram Praviveshaha. So she entered into the earth and took samadhi. So the story is that Bhagavan Ram, he was doing Rajasuya Yajna and he has released the horse. And this horse was wandering and the army of Rama was following. And Valmiki has already written Ramayana. So Lava and Kusha, they already knew Ramayana by heart. Although they have not met their father, but they know all his story. So when they saw the horse, and when horse used to go around, it was written in front of the horse, big notice that this horse is released by so and so king, and anyone who catches it has to fight with the army or they have to give the tax if you allow it to go. So when Lava and Kush, they saw it, they just caught it and they brought it to the ashram. So when Sita saw that, he says, "What are you doing? This is the horse of your father." So he says, "If this is the horse of the father, then surely we are not releasing it." Because you know the children are generally in favor of mother. Right? Whenever there is a quarrel between father and mother, then children take the side of the mother. So he says that he has troubled so much, now we will show him that we are his sons. So there it is described that they fought and they defeated everybody. There is a big story of that. Whoever came, including Hanuman. So that is when Lord Ramchandra called for Sita. Then she did not want to go and she entered into earth. So that's how it is described. So tachutva Bhagavan Ramo Rundhan api dhiya suchaha smarantasya gunanstan nashaknod rodhumishwaraha. So Ramchandra, he had ruled, as it will be said here, 13,000 years. I think Valmiki Ramayana says 11,000. Whether it is 11,000 or 1100, because these words Sahasra sometimes can mean 100 and not 1,000. There are different ways to calculate. So certainly he ruled for a longer period. In Treta Yuga, people used to live for a long time. Right? They say that in Satyuga they were living for how long? 100,000. And in Treta 10,000. And Dwapar Yuga 1,000. And Kali Yuga 100. If you are lucky. If you can escape the corona. So it becomes 1/10. Because the span is also less, the yugas are also smaller, the other yugas are bigger in time. So when Bhagavan Rama, Tachrutva, when he heard that Sita has disappeared, so Rundhan api dhiya sucha, although he tried to control his grief, trying to use his intellect, dhiya, rundhanapi, smaran tasya gunanstan nashaknot rodhumishwara. But remembering the good qualities, the good nature of Sita Devi, he was unable to control. So therefore Ram, he was crying. So he cried 2 times for Sita. Once when Sita was kidnapped by Ravana, then he was crying. So there is a very marmic description, very karunic description of his crying. that how even the stones were melting just by the sound of his weeping. It was so touching that even the stones, they started crying. So Dravati api grava, it is said that grava, the stones, even they could not remain. Means even somebody who is stone-hearted melted by seeing his crying, wailing. So this the second time he is crying for Sita. Although he tried, says, why smarantasya gunanstan, remembering all the wonderful qualities of Mother Sita, he was unable to control himself, although he is Ishvara. Ishvara api rodhum. Ishvara means who is controller, who is the regulator of everyone. He was unable to regulate his own mind. So that shows the power of Sita Devi's love, and also how much love he had for her, although he has left her. But that does not mean that he was not remembering her. That does not mean that he did not care for her, but he performed his dharma as a king. And therefore Ramchandra is called Murtiman Dharma. He is called Dharma personified. That for the sake of his dharma, he even gave up his most beloved wife, whom he loved very much. So it is for her that he is shedding tears. So Bhartur Vichhed Dukkham Asahishnu Bhava Vibram Pravishat. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says that Sita Devi was unable to tolerate the suffering of separation. Therefore she entered into a hole created by earth. And Ishwaropi Rodhum Nashaknoditi Tasya Prem Vashyatva Subhavat Iti Bhava. Although he is Ishvara, he was unable to control his grief. Why? Because there is one thing which is above him. Although he is Ishvara, he is the supreme controller, there is one thing which is above Ishvara, and that is prema. So therefore Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Tasya prem vashyar vashyatu sabhavat. It is the nature of Bhagavan. Actually it is the nature of everybody, that everybody is controlled by love. So the love of Sita was so powerful that even Ramchandra has to shed tears. So that is description of Sita Devi leaving. Yes.
Can you pass this microphone on the table there? So here it's saying Sita Devi is overcome with separation, and earlier you mentioned that when Ladan Kush captured the horse, then Ram called for Sita to come back. So if he called for her and she's feeling separation from him, why didn't she go?
Because she did not want to go back in the very kingdom from where she has been banished because of somebody's remark. So now people will make statement that look, although so much time has passed, but he is still attached to her. So she did not want that people get again chance to talk back or badly about Ramchandra or her character. So So therefore she preferred not to go.
So could it be said that her preference not to return also demonstrated her degree of adherence to dharma, similar to Ram's?
Her allegiance is to Ram. So she understands the mood of Ram and she understands what is best for him. That's why she did not protest. Because this is a question which can be raised. Why she did not protest? Why she did not send a message? It's like gopis were here in Vrindavan. Mathura is not that far. Right? They could have gone to Mathura and met Krishna there. They're crying here, they're weeping, wailing, but they never went to Mathura. And maybe some of them did go to sell their butter and yogurt, but they did not try to meet Krishna because they understand what he wants and what is best for him. So this is something which people do not understand, that their love is not for their own sake. So here in the material world we love people, generally speaking, maybe not you people. It is for our own sake. Atmana kama eva patyu priyo bhavati, right? This is what Yagyavalkya told to Maitreyi. Navare patyu kama pati priyo bhavati atmana kama eva tu. So it is actually all this weeping, wailing, crying is not for the other person, it is for myself. And here it is for the sake of Rama, or in case of Rama, for Sita. So this is the distinction.
So when Ram called her, she considered it in his interest not to follow his order.
Right. Because sometimes person feel obliged and calls, but it may be good not to do that. So that's what she did.
Can I keep going? So if we apply that thought, then Lakshman, although he was heartbroken to obey Ram's order, could it be said that he also in some sense also agreed that it was right that it had to happen?
No, he just followed the order. He already gave the word to Rama that I will do whatever you tell me to do.
Sure, but he must have suspended his considerations of his own then.
What consideration?
I mean, I guess if you're saying Sita has the capacity to deliberate or do vichar on Ram's order and decide that it's in his interest not to follow it.
Yeah.
But Lakshman doesn't have that ability.
No, he has the ability, but he was already asked not to follow, not to do any deliberation, just follow what I tell you. Sita was not ordered like that. Sita is asked and she says no. She is also not refusing, in the sense she just decides to disappear. It's not that say, well, I don't want to come, I will just stay here. So she was in a dilemma. If I go there, then it is a problem. If I stay here, it's a problem. So I just leave my body. That's what she decides. Can give the mic back.
The son of Sita and Ram, they never met them, or they were...
No, then afterwards they met.
They met, right?
They actually went and recited the whole Ramayana.
Okay. So they were not, they didn't have any resentment.
What resentment? They already knew Ramayana. They were trained by Valmiki. They became the successor of Ramchandra ji.
Valmiki's ashram is called the Pracheta ashram. Does this refer to those 10 Prachetas who married from Lucha?
Yes.
So Valmiki is in that line? Is he in that dynasty, or how is he connected?
Yeah, he comes from them, from Prachetas. It also means one who is enlightened. Okay, so we'll stop here.